Hey Soul Tribe, it's Kate and Kerry.
We are so excited to have you hear this new episode. Please review and subscribe at the end. It's free and it helps us keep spreading our message to you, our awesome listener. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode. Hey guys, welcome to Soulsessed Twins. I'm Kerry, your host.
What's up, guys? I am Kate.
And Kate and I are going to be discussing today a big topic of basically the truth about alcohol and how it's portrayed in our culture and used in our society.
Yeah. And just a disclaimer, I could care less what you do if you choose to drink, to not drink, to think about it, being curious, whatever. I have no opinion whatsoever on that. This is really just about what King alcohol and that whole industry feeds us on a daily basis and why it could be so dangerous, really. And, that like subliminal message is really what I think. Honestly, I don't drink, but I'm pissed about it because I have so many people in my life that have fallen victim to this whole idea that alcohol is only a celebration.
And the only way to celebrate. That's what's so fucked up. I mean, it's like just so many people that are wanting to be sober, just that I know, are like, God, it's like really the only way we're told that adults have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so pushed on us that we just don't even realize it. And from a very young age. Like I remember mom and dad having like a party and thinking, I can't wait to be a grown up. Like that was what it was to get drunk.
Yeah, to drink. It was totally, it was that exemplified being an adult and being cool and being, that was how you were going to be cool and have the cool car, all of it like that comes with it. The same thing about like, when you see a commercial for a really great lipstick and the girl's gorgeous and she's got everything and it's like, oh my God, I want that. And it's like, you're wanting that whole lifestyle. It's the same way alcohol and that industry. Think about the commercials. It's always a good time. It's
Always, it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not saying it's not fun. Sometimes, alcohol and the event, the event is fun, but so often alcohol only showcases when you are in control while drinking. When it's like the first one or two drinks where it is fun, it's great, it's lively, you're loosened up, all of that, but you never see the commercial played the end of
Yeah.
the night. You're never seeing that. You're never seeing, the girl hurling. She's got one shoe on. She ditched the Uber, like all this stuff, right?
Or no clothes on. Some of us. So, but it's true. And it's like just how it's portrayed as like this amazing thing. And, it's just so sophisticated and so great. And it's funny because it's like the event becomes utterly second to the background. It's not even about the event. The event, it's like, yeah, great. It's really like the drinking. That's what's going to make the event. And it's like, no, it doesn't actually. Think about 3 hours into the event. The commercials aren't shown there either, where people are saying ridiculous things, really inappropriate things, getting into fights, either, with somebody else or their spouse, or, like you said, throwing up, blacking out, and driving drunk. And these aren't every situation and every time and every circumstance. It just does, though, happen more often than not. And those ramifications and consequences aren't really blown up and exaggerated and told actually like they are. What's exaggerated is the fun part, which is like an hour or two,
Mhm.
for then days of misery and waking up utterly filled with regret, remorse, shame, all of it, right?
Was to like for me was only thinking the only way to have a good time was by drinking.
Mhm.
And when I went out, how are you not gonna drink going out? Like it didn't, the equation, well, first of all, it was never shown to me. I never saw how someone that didn't drink went out. And when I was bartending in my 20s, if somebody came in and was like, I'm not going to go to the bar, I'm just going to go eat dinner. I mean, I was like, you fucking loser. Like you have
Yeah.
no life. You are like totally deformed. And that is the stigma now is of what the stigma is of people that don't drink like me, and going into that whole like scenario of when you do go out, how I'm portrayed and how people that don't drink are portrayed, and take it take this like, oh, you don't drink, oh, I'm sorry, oh, what happened, are you okay? And it's like we just say like, yeah, like I don't drink, and like there's like this shame associated with it, where the non-drinker never responds back like, hey Susie, we've been out a few times and I noticed that you have like three or more drinks every time we go out, and sometimes you get drunk. Like, what's going on? What's going on with you? Is everything okay? Isn't that the real question?
Rather than why don't you? Yeah. No, exactly. That's the whole brainwash to the
Like,
whole thing. And
yeah.
it's like, even if it's like, or maybe not like, oh, I'm sorry, but people are like, oh, why? Why don't you? And or it's like a mirror onto themselves of like, why don't you? And it's like, it's horrible, right? In their own head, like, because we all know something is off with it. If you wake up feeling like shit, something happens every time that you don't aren't that happy about. It's like when somebody says I don't drink, it's like a spotlight on, this isn't that great, is it? I mean, it's not.
Yeah, and also to the curiosity of it, because I think so many
Yeah.
do not want to be drinking. And I just remember me in that whole rat race of, you know, um, drinking towards the end, but not wanting to be drinking, but didn't see a way out, didn't see another option, thought my whole life was going to end. And there's fun was like out the window. It was over. I was over. I was finished. That's exactly how I felt once I stopped drinking. And again, because of the lie that we're fed, that is the way to socialize. That is the way to celebrate. That is the way to show you're like that you're okay. How about that? That you're okay. And it's like,
And fit in. Yeah, there's so much fitting into it, fitting in culture. And I too, it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna drink. Like, I remember being like, I can't get married then. What would I do at my wedding? Like, what do you do? I mean, that's so fucked up. I'm serious. And then I was the waitress while you were the bartender. And if I took an order and was like, what drink, what can I get for you to drink? They're like, Nothing. I'd like this." I'm like, you're eating dinner? Like, you're here to eat? Like, are you serious? Fuck is wrong with you? Like, it just astounded me because I just was, because I just thought doing anything without it was so boring and just so like, it didn't make any sense. Like, how do you do that? How are you going to do that? How are you going to go to this? How are you going to go to that?
Mhm.
That's how trained we are to think. It's the star of the show.
Right. And how it is portrayed as this like upper, as this lubricant, as this like, thing that's going to make your whole world, where in reality, alcohol is a depressant, where that is why at the end of the night, if we've gone too far, we don't feel good. And when we wake up in the morning, the horrid, like, oh noes, what did I do? What did I say? How did I get there? How did I do this again? I swore I wasn't going to do this. I swore I was only going to have 2 drinks. And then that self-betrayal, all of that just comes in, and that just like confusion of like, or the whole thing of like, oh, I went out to dinner and well, how did I get so wasted? Or at the wedding, and you're like, God, I said I wasn't. Oh, you know what? I didn't eat. So it's not that alcohol is the problem. It's I didn't eat. I have to make sure I eat next time.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, why didn't you eat? Because you're just, it's like, yeah, it's the food. It's like, no, it's because the star of the show is alcohol and food goes to the wayside, just like everything else. And that's exactly what we're saying. It's like, I mean, it's so unbelievable. And two, it's like the habit of it, because once you're drinking, your cortisol levels, right? So say you drank the night before, your cortisol levels afterward are raised because alcohol lowers it so much, which is why you think that first drink, that second drink is so relieving, because your cortisol is so spiked that once you take a drink, it relieves it. And you're like, oh, so you're trapped in this habit and this sort of this rat race, this, hamster wheel of insanity. And that a routine that sort of you can't get out of because it's so confusing, where it does give such great relief, that how could it be bad though? It's like all I've got, that 5 o'clock, that wine, that drink. It's like, I mean, it's so relieving because people don't realize it's the chemicals that is going on in your body
Mhm.
that's happening because of it. That's the illusion. So it's like tricking you to think, but it's so relieving. How could this be bad where it gives me relief, but then it's like, but then I just feel so bad, but then I feel good. But then it's like this whole thing that's like so fucked up. And it's really because of all the chemical imbalances that it creates
Totally.
that
So
really helps with the lie.
right. And also then the good chemicals that come in, the cortisol, the
Yes.
dopamine and all that is like when you think about it, and there is again the what keeps the lie going, what keeps this hope alive is that feel good feeling.
Yeah.
And over time, it doesn't feel so good anymore. That moment just depletes less and less and less. And I think there is such a curiosity of, okay, you're talking about, the truth of alcohol and where it does eventually bring all of us. If I'm not saying that people can't drink responsibly. I'm not saying that there are people there that can have a glass of whatever and call it a night. But and you can be having a good time with it. I'm not saying that, but there is the curiosity of, well, then what is it like? What is it like without drinking? And how do you go out to dinner or an event? Or and I think just right now with this conversation about it, once you stop drinking, it is so much more prevalent of how much alcohol, what the role it plays in our life. It does even exacerbate even more because it is everywhere. And then once you continue to not drink and go out socially and not drink, you don't see the alcohol as much anymore. You do, like you just said before, you are starting to really show up for the actual occasion, for who you're actually going out with, for the actual event, rather than is this open bar or cash bar? Do I have to pay for this shit? And like your whole reason for going out changes, and it matters who you're going out with way more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole quality of your life changes. And also, too, like really getting the perception of alcohol. So once you stop drinking or don't, want to as much, switch your perception to you're not missing out, you're getting back. And you're making quality decisions of like, do I really want to go to this thing? Actually, I don't even want to go. I hate these people. Or like whatever it is, but it's like so ridiculous. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to things I don't even want to go to, basically, really, because it's drinking. And also the perception on it turns to it's not good for me. Like that makes me feel like shit. I'm not missing out, right? And when I see it now, if I'm out, I don't care. Like it's not something that would add to my life. It actually destroys it and just makes me feel like shit. That I just feel like there's no value in alcohol. Like I don't feel like I'm missing out. It just is like a non-entity to me. It just would seem sort of ridiculous for me to take a drink. I have nothing to, it would benefit me in zero way, shape.
Yeah, that's so true. Like when you start to, remove yourself from alcohol and have alcohol removed from your life, you start to really see it for what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, so much. I think a lot of people there, the misconception again is that with people that don't drink, when they're out, they're like white knuckling it, or
Yeah.
like, secretly wishing that they were Susie that's drinking the wine or the cocktail or whatever it is. Where for me, I can say not drinking and seeing that it's exactly like that. That thought process is like, awesome, like have a great time. I really don't give a shit, but it doesn't benefit me. I know where it takes me. There is no positive to drinking that drink. There's none. And the call, because you've removed the alcohol from your system for a time, that cortisol and the dopamine and the chemicals, it doesn't call to you anymore, because there is
Yeah.
that, addiction element. And that once you step away from it and stop ingesting it, you don't have that feeling that you're thinking I'm still having when I don't drink. I don't have it. I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
any call to it. It's like, yeah, that doesn't work for me anymore. I know where that takes me. I know the next morning, zero benefit. And even in the evening of when I'm actually there, I actually want to remember, I don't want to slur, and I want to enjoy the company that I'm keeping right now.
Yeah. Well, just because the truth of it really becomes very clear of what it actually is. And I'm just like, no. And yeah, there's no delusion going on. I'm like, oh, and guess what? Actually, to be honest, because it's so shoved down our throats that it's like so great and this thing to be in on and so cool, and it's just like, oh, everybody is just loving it and has such a great time. Because that is there, we're so trained with it, sometimes I can feel like I'm left out, and that just gets less and less and less once you just truly realize like, no, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, and alcohol is not the star of the show. I mean, if you have a problem, it is. If you are going out to drink and
Yeah.
not really care who you're with and where you're going with, it's the star of the show.
And
But
your life. It's a
and
story of your life. But there's
right,
problems to it. And that's even that. Like, even if it is, come on, look at it.
right.
Why is it?
And I love too when you don't drink, you do become you know, a participant in who you are going out with. I know we kind of just were talking about that briefly, but I always, look at if you take alcohol away, are you still going to go out with that person?
Right.
Or are you going out with them because they drink like the way that you drink? Is
Right.
or is there something really there? Is there some, a real friendship there, a real connection there? That's wonderful. I mean, I hope for that, but take king alcohol away. And would you be hanging out with that person if it wasn't there?
Yeah. I mean, we're so socialized to just, it's like so much of it is just that's what your friendship's based on a lot of the time. And then when you take it away, you realize, is this really a friendship? Right? Or is it a drinking buddy? Somebody that I can just drink with so that I'm not drinking alone.
Mhm.
Right. And also, what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I forget. So
Well, I just feel like too, as we get older, that is where, it's like the blessing and the curse. The blessing is that you are starting to really contemplate what you're doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. What are the choices that I'm making that are really making me miserable, and what I could do instead? And the curse is you become more dependent on it. You become more, like we're saying, but what the hell would I do? This is the only thing that I can do to socialize, to have a good time, to be with friends that I really want to be with. And you don't know until, and I mean, we could talk about this, absolutely, but you don't know until you stop how fun it really is without drinking. How, you know what it is?
it's like how close the connections actually truly are.
Right. And I think when you're drinking, you don't want the connection. You don't actually want to truly connect with people or with the people that you are with, because you feel like shit about yourself.
I
You
was
feel,
going to say it's alcohol, and the way that we're socialized and conditioned to drink it is utterly to mask and cover up any work that we truly need to do to actually feel better.
Mhm.
It does not make you feel better in the long run, which is like the next morning. That's not that long, right? And every day thereafter. So we're trained to think it's like this thing that helps us, but truly it's hurting us. So to do the work that is actually what it's masking, then you're actually feeling good and able to and want to have conversations because you're not hiding behind a drink so much.
Yeah, and I think that is what keeps you drinking, is
Yeah.
sometimes, you're so afraid of the things that you're drinking over. Like, there is such a thing, when they say like drinking's not the problem. It's not. It's what we're drinking over that's the problem. And those are the things that, sometimes, like I said, will keep us drinking. But we've said in other episodes, they really are just boogeymen. And the things that are keeping you drinking that you don't want to deal with, it's not as big as you think it is. You can handle it. You can take control of these hurts, these pains, these angers, these whatever it is that is causing you to want to escape your life, to want to get out of your life. You can, there is a way out. That's all I will say. And there is so much more fun to be had being sober, not drinking. It's just I think it's just like the self compatibility is what I was going to say, but like the non-betrayal of yourself, to not disappoint yourself anymore and think like, well, this is it, I guess we're going to go, but then put the happy face on because like this is it. It's not it. It's not it.
Yeah. And truly to really take in, like, we absolutely live once. Like, this is it. This is your life. And you're contemplating wanting, you're contemplating change because you want it, right? But it is scary to have it and to do it. But it's worth it because guess what? It doesn't get better. It will only get worse, whatever it is. I'm not saying even a massive drinking problem. I'm just even saying to
Totally.
to improve your life. It affects your life so much you just don't even realize. But without it, it improves it like tremendously. And to know like you're worth it. And guess what? You can always go back to it. Like there is so much more to be had on the other side that we just don't know about. We're not taught about it. We don't hear about it. We're not shown about it a lot.
Mhm.
And there's the clarity, right? Just the clarity, just the truth, just all of that bullshit. You don't have it anymore. Waking up feeling like shit, totally remorseful, so regretful, guilty, all of that just self-flagellating constantly on just like, what did I do and what am I doing?
Mhm.
Goes out the window.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
you have it in other ways, of course. I mean, you can think like, what am I doing? But it's not filled with like all of this
hatred, self-hatred,
self-hatred and just like disgust
and shame.
and shame. Is that at least you're not dealing with that. And
Yeah.
then you're actually dealing with stuff that you can really do something about
Mhm.
because you're getting to it.
So much more that you accomplish. And I just loved probably what you just said is the clarity that you get when you're not drinking in your mind, that fog that lifts, that like just trudging through another day of like, because you're hungover and stuff. Like, just, these are like the little gifts. And the fun that you have is still going out to dinner, is still going out to events and parties and everything. And honestly, once I stopped drinking and then, got comfortable over time, I wasn't like going out raging when I first stopped drinking. You kind of like collect yourself and, fall into that lifestyle. Once I had it and was comfortable not drinking and going out, I became like the life of the party. I never danced more. I never laughed more. I never acted like more of an idiot before, just having the best time. And the biggest gift of that is going home elated with yourself, going home in love with yourself, going home with actual fun, funny, awesome memories, that you get to keep. That's like,
Yeah. And that you don't want to run away from and hide and pretend never happened. You're actually like, oh my God, that was so fun. That was so nice, right? You're
yeah.
not just like, and there's no mortification.
Mhm.
You're not dying of just like, will they remember? Will I remember? I don't remember. What happened? You actually are like, oh my God, that was so friggin' fun. And jump in bed. And then you're like, do
Yes.
your whatever, actually take your makeup off. And
The little bit.
I swear to God, listening to you say this and really waking up to this more and more, the idea of like, oh my God, like this is so hard, or like, what am I gonna do? Like, God, it's really training that it's so great. And we're not doing something that's like so great. We're not doing it anymore. It's like, no, it's really like, yes, I'm not doing it anymore. Like, this is amazing. Like, that is how it should be looked at because that's the truth. It's just we're so conditioned to think it's the thing. And like not doing it is so lame. And everyone should feel sorry for us. And me too. I feel so bad for myself. No, you should be fucking, a lot of us do, right? When you stop, you're like, wow. But to have that continue rather than like, yeah, but now I'm really missing out. No, you're really not. You're trained to believe you are.
Yeah, I never feel like that. I always, but what you're saying is like, the whole like, she's not drinking anymore. Like, I bet the person not drinking doesn't feel like that. The person
Well,
that
you can though. You
you
can,
can,
especially in the beginning.
yeah. Yeah, because you're like you're saying trained, or you just lost your best friend. You did. Like even how dysfunctional it was and how codependent we are on alcohol and all of those things. there is that grief of like, it's over. I'm not going to drink anymore. Like this, well, for now that I'm deciding I'm not going to drink anymore. And there is that like that defeat, that like, God,
Oh, because it's all you know.
it's all you know. But once that lifts, that lie really lifts, and you get to actually see the life that really comes in, that you were really meant to live, that no longer that fight, that self-hatred life that you were living, that it brings. Or how about just it's not even to that extreme, you're just not happy, you're not satisfied, it's not working, you're miserable, you don't feel good, so now you're not drinking anymore, and it's such a lift, it's such a relief, there's so much lightness there, rather than, yeah, Kerry, like you're saying, like, it's not what I'm not getting, it's what I'm getting
Back.
everything. And it's like, okay, so you can't do one thing. You don't do one thing, you get to do everything else in the world.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, honest to God, right? And like Kate said, I don't give a fuck what you do either. I don't care. We're just talking about it's unbelievable the lie we've been fed about King alcohol. It really is truly becoming like the cigarettes. Everyone thought, oh, so cool, sophisticated, and great until everyone was dropping dead of cancer, right? Including both of our parents died from smoking complications. And realizing, oh my God, this is not cool at all. And nobody can stop because it's so addictive, right?
Mhm.
Or you can, but it's very hard to stop. Where alcohol is really truly being revealed as the poison that it is. Sorry, but it is. And I don't care if you drink it, fine, no problem. But the reason why there's so much contemplation about it is because it doesn't make us feel good, truly, in the end. Otherwise, why would I not be drinking? I'd drink in a second if it was actually good for you. People wouldn't have a problem and you'd just be able to do it and it'd be great. But that's
Yeah,
not the reality of it.
yeah, if it didn't cause problems, I'd be drinking all day.
Right now.
That's the
You
problem.
fucking kidding me?
No, but
Yeah.
I love this too, where Andy would it said this like a long time ago. Andy's my husband. And he said, like, never ever did I wake up and say, damn, I wish I drank last night.
So
It's
true.
like, fuck, I have a really important meeting today. Why didn't I drink last night? But if it's so great and it gives you so much, why do you have to checklist like, what do I have tomorrow? Do I have anything important? Do I have anywhere to be that like I cannot miss? Okay, no. Okay, yeah, I could drink tonight. Okay, there's a win. What the
Or even, I have this very important thing tomorrow. I'll just have a couple. And then if I mean, it's like, it's so fucked up. It's just like you can't get around it. It's so, it permeates our whole society. It's really unbelievable.
yeah.
But the truth of it is, it doesn't have to. And there really is life beyond a drink. Like there just really is. I don't care if you're having one. That's fine, right? But it's affecting your life in a way that you sort of know. Oh, even the one is sort of, ugh. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you can do without it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's our little ranty on, King alcohol. And like, I love it. The truths of alcohol. And
And hello, skin. Hello, looking 90 years old when you're actually 30. Are you kidding me? Do you know
mm,
how talk about aging? Age is but a number and what you're doing to get there. Absolutely. I mean,
remember?
I looked like I was gray, I was shriveled, and I was 3 pounds.
Shriveled, but with a cone head because we were throwing up all day. My God, so bad.
from being hungover and
bulimia.
bulimia.
The thing is,
But
too, like, oh my God,
the
weight.
weight, if you're obsessed with your weight or want to look better, watch how much you'll drop not
Oh
drinking.
gosh.
Your
My
whole health becomes better.
my girlfriend actually right now has stopped from since the end of last summer. So it's been like 9 months or so, 10 months. And I am like, girl,
Oh,
it
really?
seems like it's all I'm not drinking and the
Uh,
shitting and we're not just who you're meant to really look like also and be. I mean, her demeanor, her softness, that edge that is lost, and it just is so much benefits come from not drinking more than just not
even
drinking.
better.
Yeah, like you
And
really
also, it's
like just thinking about how I came into, not drinking, what I looked like versus what I look like today. You're
yeah.
right. It's
I
scary.
look younger, honest to God.
Oh my God.
And also, too, it's just like not actual like pounds weight, that too, but just like the
Mm,
weight of
mm.
the emotions and the contemplation, the stress, because
It-
your cortisol evens out and just like, oh, so much falls off of you and your true self comes through.
yeah, it's so much work. I just remember it was exhausting. It was
Mm.
so much work. So
Mm.
that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies and any gents out there that are listening, thank you guys so much for joining another episode of Soulsessed Twins.
Hope you liked it.
Please look for us on social medias. Instagram is really where it's at for us, but of course, you would find us on Facebook as well, and reach out to us at any time. We
And
are.
we're on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, and YouTube too. But leave comments. We really would love to continue to hear from you guys. We just love the community that we're building.
Yeah. Love you guys so much and see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Stay tuned, guys. We are thrilled to be here with each other, and feel so privileged to try and carry a message of hope and positive change to one other person out there. So please subscribe and review and share our podcast to reach that person. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Soulsessed Twins and get daily inspo and connect with us.
Let's build this community together.
100%. So come back next week and we'll see you then.
Get soul-sessed with us, Soul Tribe.
That's it. Bye, guys.